So let's start. I'll just anyway. Any volunteers on the? So let's start. I'll just anyway. Any volunteers on?
Show message. Okay. Icons. Okay. Good thing there's Google before we have to rely on the. Uh, yeah, this one. Okay. So this is the icon. No? Okay. Plain message. Not two. Hmm. So yeah, this one is um, the icons. Okay. And of course, no, the first one, no, in the show message dialog box, where do we want the dialog box to appear? No? If we say frame, no, it's going to appear inside a JFrame. No? So we'll talk about JFrame later, no, GUI. But for now, no, what I did was null, which means that it will appear on screen, no, here. Okay. So if it has a frame, the show message dialog box will appear on that frame. We're not into frames yet. That's why I'm not going to discuss it yet. No? But for now, the null here represents the entire screen. So the show message dialog will appear in the middle. Okay, do you get it? And then, of course, the icons, no? That's the third parameter or argument. No? Okay, we have the error message, information message. If you don't want to display anything, that's going to be plain message. Okay. We need a J option pane again. So that's J option pane. Don't forget the capitalization. Where are the capital letters? Uh, the J option the J option pane is part of GUI, no? Okay, and it's part of the Swing library. No? That's why I use this one. Okay, so we will talk about that later, not today. No? Okay, so if I compile it again, where's the dialog box? I'm just going to cancel it. What happened here? It's still running. That's the problem. We have to minimize it. No? It's still running. The program is still running, but I can't find it. Okay. So I'm going to compile it again. Ah, no suitable method found for string and int. Did they change this to number? J option pane, error message, plain message. Did I get that wrong? For a while class. Okay. Let's debug it. First parameter. And then the second. Okay. Did I made a mistake? J option pane, plain message. Hmm. class, help me out. No? Did I make a mistake in the spelling or something? I did not, right? With regards to this one, it should be all caps. This one.
Ano po ulit yung error, sir?
Uh, I don't know if it's a new compiler, but of course, uh, something is not right because this should be a number. And in fact, this is a number. No? Okay. So this is a property. I'm going to try 0. No?
Yung error, sir, na tinuturo is from the method calling itself. Galing dun sa JOption panel class.
The show message dialog.
Yung arrow, sir, kung titingnan nyo po. Dun sa...
Yeah, the show message dialog. This one. So something is wrong with my parameter. It means that this one is no longer existing. Okay. So I'll try something else. I'll try a number, 0. Then I'll compile it again. Doesn't accept the third one. Okay. But okay. It's not accepting a third parameter. No? One. Anyway, this doesn't work. You can try. As I'm going to try one more before I stop because it's already ridiculous. No? Okay.
Trinay ko siya, sir, i-code. Sabi po, it returns a void kasi. Tapos nandun po kasi tayo sa static, yung main function po kasi natin nasa loob tayo ng static.
Nah, it shouldn't be a problem, no? Because I'm just dealing with a third parameter. Okay, it's not accepting this one. This one. Okay, so if I remove the third argument or parameter, it works. No? So no problem about that. So then if I run it, okay, Jack. If I press enter or click OK, that's it. But the information is there now. I was hoping to change this icon. Okay, the plain means that there's going to be no icon, and then the I there is the information message. Okay, this one should be this one. Okay, or okay, I'll add a throws exception, but this should be an inside the try catch. So anyway, I'll just
Sir, trinay ko po yung same code parehas tayo. Hindi naman po nag-error sa akin with plain message sa dulo.
so this one.
Apo.
So okay.
I don't know
needs an
kung saan po sa
It needs an
syntax po.
exception. Anyway, I'm not discussing this one in detail, no, before. Okay, I've added a throws exception. No? Okay, so let's see. Okay, not the throws exception, as I have predicted. No, doesn't care about
Sir,
this
try niyo
later.
pong ano, Sir, may naisip po ako. Try niyo pong palitan yung swing dot asterisk instead of importing only one from
But
that class.
I'm using just this one, so I don't need. I'm using this one, no? J option pin. Okay. Same. Because I'm just using the J option pin. Anyway, class, you can, if you want, you can experiment on this one, no? If you want. No? But of course, we can have the J option pin, the show input dialog. No? We can have a default. No? In order to have a default, that's going to be a second argument. No? So let's say, for example, Johnny. Okay. Then let's compile it. What happened? Okay. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So if we run this one, so as you can see, there's a default. Huh? Okay. So anyway, if you want a default, you can uh, you can put it here. No? If not, no, then it's going to be stored on. Of course, no. The the information that we have typed in the show message, the show input dialog, will be stored in the name. As what I have said, no, everything that you have typed there will be text. Yeah? So if you want that converted, so let's say, for example, okay, we have here float uh, grade, let's say. So in the J option, the show input dialog box, no? So what we can do is, of course, okay, string into okay. And then enter grade. Okay. And then what we can do is, of course, grade equals uh, senior moment. Okay. Is this too float? Yeah. Uh, too float. Oh, Java. Wait, Java. Okay. Parse float. Okay, sorry. This is found in the parse float. Yeah, in the float class. Okay. So what we can do is, of course, float. We're going to use the wrapper class, no? And then we cannot do this in the primitive, no? Str grade. Okay. So let's say this is going to be okay. And then paint that show message dialog. Okay. Just going to store it in one. And your grade is okay. So let's file it, then run it. Okay, so Johnny, enter grade, let's say 85. So this should be 95, 85.20. Okay, I made the mistake. Yeah, I did not. Okay. No mistake. So anyway, are there any questions? So as I have said, no, okay, if you want a numeric value, if you want a numeric value in the show input dialog, no, you have to convert it. Okay, and of course, now there's, if you want it integer, okay, there's integer parse int. Okay, let's see, no, let's, I think it's parse int, of course.
Yes, sir. Tama po.
Okay.
Same din
Thank
po,
you.
sir, sa mga wrapper class. Like
Yes.
float, then
Yes.
parse float.
Yes. Yes. Or double if you want, no? You can only do that in wrapper classes, no? You cannot do a parse int or parse float in a primitive, no? That's the main difference, no? One of the main differences. So any questions with regards to the show input dialog and the show message dialog?
May question po ako, sir.
Yes.
Since yung J option pane po, and in dialog, it will always return a string po, no? Since we are using a wrapper class to convert string from any primitive data type. Tama po ba?
What do you mean? I just use a primitive data type to store what was entered in the grade, no? Because this one, no, it's going to be stored as a string. That's why I use a string. Okay, and then I just converted that, no, okay, to a float using the wrapper class. I need a wrapper class to convert it because this is a string. Okay, we cannot use the what did you call that again, Julia? Sorry, no, senior moment. The conversion. This one.
Alin po, sir, yung typecasting po?
Typecasting. We cannot do typecasting in string. No? Okay, if I remember right, no? We cannot do that.
I mean, sir, kasi po, di ba, for example, sa J option pane, yung sa may enter grade, what if instead of string, I want an integer na wrapper class? Or since hindi naman natin kailangan ng wrapper class since primitive naman po yung integer. Instead of string grade, instead of string grade, gawin natin pong int grade.
It won't because this one should be
String po. Palagi
this
talaga.
one is string. Yeah. Okay.
So meaning, sir, lagi pong, lahat po ng ini-input ni user from the dialog always need as storage na string.
Yes, it's always string. That's why you need to convert it.
Ayan po. Yun lang po, sir, yung
Yeah,
question.
that's the difference between using the show input dialog, no? Because it's universal string, no? Okay, instead of using the scanner class, no? But of course, you have to if you want a more this one is very primitive, no? We're just using dialog boxes, no? Okay, but if you want, no, we can store it as numeric or integer or float, no, using GUI, no, swing. No, we're talking about widgets, but that's on a later part, no, of our discussion. That's I think that's going to be on our finals, no, final. Yeah, I think. Or if I can squeeze it in the what's this? Uh, yeah, if I can squeeze it in midterms, no problem. Do you have a schedule on your midterms or not yet?
Sa ngayon po, wala pa po, sir.
Okay. Um, any more questions with regards to the show input dialog and the show message? So again, the show input, although it has show, no, okay, the input, of course, no, accepts data entry, and the show message, of course, displays it. No? And the show message, what we have is, of course, no, it gave an error earlier, no, when I just entered the string, no, the output. No? You have to specify a null, no, for now, no, because we're displaying the dialog box in on screen. No? Okay, this should be a frame. No? If we're talking about GUI or frames, no, JFrame, in fact. No? But for now, we're not going to talk about that. No? Later on. Okay. What's our next topic? I Julia, what's our next topic?
Based po sa IM, it's supposed to be data methods.
Data methods.
Ay, pero di ba po pinagpalit niyo po yung
Oh, yeah.
classes and objects?
So we're into we're
Kasi we
into
just
OOP
finished
na.
arrays and strings po.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, class. This is a most of your classmates are not speaking, you know. So I don't know if they're sleeping or not. Okay. Uh,
So meaning, sir, next meeting po, objects and classes na po tayo?
yeah, I'm going to ask a silly question. No? I know the entire class will be happy. No? Do you want to continue our discussion next meeting? Or do we continue today with regards to classes and objects? No? Okay, because later on you will understand, no? Okay, why I swapped it, no? Okay, so without understanding classes and objects, okay, we cannot proceed to methods, no? Because methods only appear in classes, no? And objects. Okay, So you can only see the method once we have created a class. Okay. As you can see, the parse float or the parse int, we have used a built-in class, and they are the wrapper classes. So that's one example of a class. In fact, there's a word there that I don't want to discuss yet, in which you will create an object based from the class that you have defined. Okay. So again, we cannot discuss methods without discussing classes first. Do you want to continue, class?
Ano naman po, sir, if are we advanced po ba sa ibang section?
I don't know.
Pagdating sa topics.
I don't know. That I don't know. No, because I'm not in communication with my other co-faculties in Java.
Ay, hindi po yung other sections po na hinahandle niyo po.
No, we're all in sync.
Oh, naisip ko po kasi baka
We
information overload sa iba.
we are advanced today. Tomorrow we will meet. I will discuss the same. Siguro yung iba niyong kaklase na what's this? Na board dun sa 3D, no? 3D array.
Sa totoo lang po, sir.
Okay. Sige. So, class, I'm going to give you a break, for today. I'll send you the sample code or the codes that we have done today, and then you can study them later. Okay. And the next meeting, we'll talk about classes and objects. We will proceed to methods, actually. You will learn how to create properties and methods. Next meeting. Okay?
Sige po, sir.
So if there are no more questions or clarifications with regards to our discussion, class, thank you for adjusting the schedule again. Okay? And I hope you learned something today. Thank you, class. I'll see you next meeting.
Sige po, sir. Thank you
Thank
po.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you po, sir.
Naliwanagan po, sir, sa 3D.
Thank you po, sir.
Okay. Sige.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir.